day that we've never seen before. We thank you, Lord, for the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We ask you to be with us today as we take care, manage the county's business. We pray, Father God, that you send your Holy Spirit down to help us to make the right decision, benefit the citizens, as well as glorify your name. Lord, Father God, we just pray that we have show respect one for another, as we are to love one another. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I put some copies of the proposed budget out. I was waiting on some changes before I sent it to everybody. So the budget that we have is a little different in what y'all have. Total not budget is $46,860.41. What I did add to the budget was $20,000 in revenue from the city of Newton for the library expenses. We added on our insurance benefits for every employee. We had that, it was wrong, so we added $52.80 on expenses, for each employee. I added $2,372.25 to the full-time janitor salary. And solid waste, one of the part-time positions was off, so there's 3 full-time positions, and they're split between maintenance and solid waste. And there's 2 part-time positions that are totally solid waste. Added $5,000 for fuel for solid waste, and then added $5,000 more floodplain. So, that comes from Sabine River Authority. Out of $25,000 Sabine River Authority gives for floodplain. So that's the only difference in the budget that I have and what y'all we get contributed. So, y'all want to go over it by the lines, or how do y'all want to do this?
Well, back to one of the things that you said, so you went to the city and got somebody to help pay for the library?
Yes, we've been in negotiations with the city for a little while on, helping with the library. So they come back today and said, hey, we need to fund $20,000 for the library expenses. So, and I was waiting on, so we added that into the budget for the library.
It's good work, by the way.
A lot of people here in the city limits, do use the library, so that was, one of the things I was selling to.
Unfortunately, couldn't be here. She's trying to get online to watch it, but I was asking, about uniforms, like, the person that works in your office, if they had they could get like a shirt like this, like a pullover with a collar and some sandals. One time they were allowed to do that, and they weren't allowed to do it. They did it at office supplies. Is there any reason? I think this is a court question. Is there any reason that if somebody has it in their budget, they can't use that money? I like people having uniforms because it identifies them, like if they're out there cleaning the courthouse square, or if they, working on the court, whatever, you see who they are, who they're affiliated with. Is there any reason we can't use the money that we're allocated, such as, I don't know what it would be in some of these add-ons or whatever?
So, no, there's no reason why you couldn't use it for that. I know, for example, in my office, I have an office policy, and every department is supposed to have a policy for their office. And my policy says that each employee shall be provided uniforms to wear at their discretion or at my direction, it's something along those lines. And so I have polos that I provided to my people that way, and I used, actually, I think I used cautionary money or something, but you could use office supplies. This department has that, not all departments have that ability, but yeah, you can do that and then, put it in your policy and make it even more foolproof. You've got it in writing that each person's gonna get a uniform, and then it's up to the department if you want to require them to wear it or if it's optional, but that way everybody is provided with something. Same where, yours, that you may want to provide like steel toe boots or whatever it might be in your department is, then you could pay for that.
This year, the total property taxes is $7,749,533.06. Going with the no new revenue tax rate.
I think last time, man, I asked some questions about the revenue and money coming in, we're getting more money than that, and Ms. Burke's answered that for me, so appreciate it.
Hey, do you want to, on the unused increment rate, do you want to describe that? What we're doing is the no new revenue rate was using some of the unused increment rate from previous years.
I didn't know anything about it, but you are allowed to use the unused increment rate. The unused increment rate, going with the no new revenue rate, there was a possibility that we would be using 0.02930 of the unused increment rate. But according to the comptroller's office and the gurus, because of it's the lower of the voter approval rate, it's kind of a little loophole there. It's not using any of it going with the no revenue rate. But under this unused increment rate, it's something that the legislature came up with to help counties out a bit. So, you can use, this year, you don't have to use any of it, and you don't lose any of it. It's a 3-year look back. But on the 3-year look back, the third year is 0. So, you don't have to use any of it this year. Next year, if you don't use some, you will lose some. We have a little over 10 cents. I didn't know that you know anything about it, or I would have figured out what each penny would generate, but it's not going to be hard for me to figure it real quick.
Okay.
General fund and, lateral road, do keep in mind, I just want to keep that this no new revenue rate is about the same as last year's total tax rate. So we are getting some more money. But I will go over here and figure it.
Okay, I'm going to, you don't have to figure it out.
or whatever. But we're not losing any this year by not using it.
But you got 3 years.
It's a 3-year look back.
Can you
Now,
all of
next
it or
year,
some of it?
I'll tell y'all next year exactly what you have to use or lose. You know? This year, you're not gonna lose a penny by not using it.
Okay.
Okay? But next year, yes.
But the .709575, that's what, you're good with what's in this budget, it generates that amount of money. And
I haven't been able to look at this, there are other things besides property taxes to fund this budget. I haven't, that's not something, I guess I've never been asked this question, and I don't normally check the budget. I don't normally check the budget and make And then the budget has to be prepared to,
We get 95% of your
and
property tax.
it's at 95%.
You're at
And
95%.
we are over 95% right now. So I'm excited about that. To report that today, that is very exciting. And there will be a large sale in November. There was a very lucrative piece of property that was going to be sold at the last sale. It was pulled at the last minute because, say, less than a week before the sale, they realized there was 2 more pieces of property that would be landlocked. And they had delinquent taxes, so they pulled that. They have judgments, and now they're taking it all. So it's really going to be a nice piece of property. They should, And there's quite a large sum of delinquent taxes on it. So I expect us to end the year in the tax office with a really good collection rate. Current and delinquent. Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Questions? Okay.
So I guess, Judge, that question, I really need to ask to the auditors. So when we look at the total commissions and the restitution, all these other fees, if you take the 0.7 total, 0.79575, and you add all these fees and commissions and all these, it comes to this 8,928,000, and that includes SB 22 money as well. So those numbers are right. I guess that's what, when we go into this, when we look at this budget, that's right.
And we added 20,000 right before today, and we found out that the city was going to fund $20,000 for the city donation. You guys, it's gonna be under the other revenue, city donation for all of $20,000. So actually, it's gonna be a total of revenue of $8,948,000.
I'm sorry, can you say that number again?
$8,948,306.06.
Thank you.
There are several people that want to be able to hear.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I fall into that category.
These are my thoughts.
These things. So Judge, I guess we can just start asking questions and talking about this. I remember.
I have I'm not sure which direction to go with it, but does anybody have any questions on any of the revenue or any of the department's budgets?
Sir?
I would like to say something about our commissioner's budget, specifically on the ones that are carrying over money. I think it's confusing if somebody's out there looking at everybody's budget when it gets to a commissioner's budget. You can see how much they're out of it. They're not in time, and it's probably all four get the same amount of money. It's divided by 4. 15% is divided by 4, and we get that money. A lot of some of us acquire money, and if you look at the commissioner's budget, they're all over the page. So a lot of that's carryover money. Just be vigilant of that. When you look at that, why they're not all the same. They all do start out the same. It's just how much money that you have left over in your budget at the end of the year that carries over that makes those numbers different.
So you're talking about the roll.
It's rolling money.
So Sherry and I talked about that, but I'm one of the ones that was fortunate enough to get rollover money from this year to next year, so it was like, I got all the money that you did. But you said that putting a line in there calling it cash was not a good idea, correct?
No, because it's already in the cash account. All of this goes straight into that net when we get finished, and all of that is already in the cash account that you're gonna be rolling.
Right.
So,
I just wanted to.
I mean, I can document that you're rolling over X amount of dollars down here, I can put that down there, like on yours, for example. You have revenue that you're gonna have for 2024 is gonna be $218,550,000. it's really not a deficit budget because you have the cash. So it's just not on this sheet that you're gonna see.
And we had a line item in there, I seen one that says projects, because it was gonna be project spent, but it didn't. So is there some way you can go in there and put a note and so the general public can see precinct
Put a
four?
little asterisk down there, you know, roll over for commissioner, $550,000.
You got so many people looking at the budget, it's won't understand why they're not the same.
What about rollover revenue? Rollover revenue?
Do it.
Right.
We don't roll back into
But
the.
it would distinguish. Yeah. Because, I may be wrong, but didn't Commissioner White, didn't that how we were able to get that, reborn? It's the accumulation, rollover revenue
Yes,
from year to year? Yes. And the county didn't have to finance it, there wasn't any, yes.
That's the only way to do the project, either precinct is a state a little bit every year. Project.
Right. Good job.
So so even though we're calling it only revenue because of the increment and the debt forgiveness and all of those things, we're actually ending up with quite a bit more revenue for the county this year.
Yes.
746,000, so I want to just be clear, everybody, we know that.
And y'all know why
I tell you what.
that, you know why it is? Because it's based last year's tax rate, all adjustments, and you get about the same. It has to be compared, about comparable. It's really close at 51,000 something.
It's on the front page.
Yes,
One.
but that's what it is, it's based off of the last year's.
Well, that's what that's taking out.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, it's 746 with that.
Yeah, with it added in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This person knows how to do a job, I just, for the general public, I mean, it's confusing to me, and I looked at it once, so thank you for helping us with that.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I got some stuff here, I have a thought that I want to share with the court, just, so I got a meeting next week with Morrisville Utility District. This week, set that last week, this week. And it's about getting some land, donated. This has been an ongoing thing, but we're getting ready to sit down and sort of be in the paper. $1 for a year, $1 for 100 years, how do we work the contract out, which our county attorney did. But you know, I didn't invite the judge to that meeting for one reason. It's 120 miles for him to go down there and come back. And he's driving his vehicle down there and back. And all four of us are driving county vehicle, running county gas. And I know the sheriff is in here, senior sheriff. He drives the county vehicle. And, which he should, absolutely should, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you get a truck license?
No, I have, parking lot.
Okay.
And,
But I just think our county judge should be provided with a vehicle. And let me tell you, I'm gonna go on to add a little bit more of that. For him to go to precinct 4, I'm not gonna talk about Toledo being, because I don't know that. But for him to go to precinct 4 is over 100 miles round trip. And I want the county judge in precinct 4. I think that when there's a parade in precinct 4, he needs to be there. I think when there's a public meeting down there, he needs to be there. And he's been there more than any other judge I think. In the first 9 months, he's been there more times than I can remember anybody ever being there. So I appreciate that. That's not what I'm going at all. I just think that the county, when you look at what we're paying our county judge, and then we turn around and ask him to run all over the county in his vehicle, on his money, I think we should do better than that. I think we should do better than that. And that's not because I'm friends with Ronnie Cochran. That's because that's what I think is right. And I'd like to discuss it. I think that's his option. Talk more, what do you think about that?
Well, just like you had your option of either leasing a truck or sending back.
You
You have that option in precinct 4. We don't tell you what to do. You had all the right in the world to lease you a truck, or go buy you a new truck and the county will pay you for it. Gene Thompson's
No,
done it.
I didn't have that option, but let's not even talk
Well,
about it.
somebody didn't.
I didn't have that option.
Okay, well,
Okay, but that truck that was bought for me was bought out of the general fund.
I'm just
So,
saying, you asked,
the road
what
is
is it?
general fund.
Road Bridge General Fund.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just asked, could we, it's totally left up to the judge if he wants to do that, as it is to you and as it is to me, and the rest of those two guys down there, and the sheriff.
Well,
You say it should go to the judge, but we're all gonna vote on the budget.
Well, sure we are.
So what I'm saying is, as
But
a
if the judge
court,
wants a truck, he's gonna say, I want a truck, and we're gonna vote yes for the man, we're gonna vote for it.
he's not gonna ask for it.
yeah, right, I would rather see a voting, a polling place in his before I have a meeting.
We're working on that.
I think we can do both. I mean, I think we can do both. If we were to buy the judge a vehicle,
Yeah, I really don't want a, now, if there was one I would use. And we're getting, one from the sheriff. Right here. And we plan on
I
using
don't
that.
think in the history of the county judge, and the county there, we have a county vehicle.
I agree. I agree. 100%.
It's for a reason.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't think you want a county judge driving a truck like we have.
I didn't say a truck like you drive, I'm saying a vehicle. I want the county judge to have a vehicle where I don't feel like I'm taking away from right, or the county judge and his family by saying, hey, can you come to a meeting in Mauriceville this Wednesday? And hey, by the way, we got a homecoming parade, I really like for you to be there. I just, if there's somebody out there, I mean, is there anybody here that would see a reason that we wouldn't provide the county judge vehicle? I mean, I think the county judge needs to be mobile and is moving around the county as much as anybody.
Do we have an idea, would it be good to look back at the average, miles per year that one that kind of good travel and,
I did put in for a travel allowance this year. I did put in for the travel allowance this year. And I put the same as the council. So, and that, we did advertise that.
Yes.
You know, as far as, I dig it, I appreciate it, but I would rather see a polling place in Gibbs or whatever.
Well, if it comes down to one or two, I'm with you on that. But I guess where I'm going with it, if we were to purchase a vehicle in 2023 or 2024, am I right?
No, it's not, wait till 2024.
We would pay in 25.
Yes, you pay no, you could not order it for 23 or 24.
So maybe that don't need to be in the budget,
It needs to be, if you're gonna do it in 24, it has to be in the budget for 24.
but, okay.
And then his first payment.
No, we did it in 24, we don't pay for it until 25. That's what I'm just, am I out left field when y'all look at it? I know it's never been done. I'd say JP's had assistance, had assistance. We didn't have a third time.
Ford Fiesta, big difference in price.
This is not something Ronnie Cochran called me and asked me about. This is something I got on my heart. I feel like it's the right thing to do. If y'all don't, I'm not gonna push it. I'm just saying, I think it's something that we work through this.
Like a bicycle.
Come back to the end of this, we gotta say. And if somebody out there got comments on it, please weigh in.
What kind of vehicle are you talking about?
Lamborghini type vehicle.
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, he may not want to ride around in a Pinto, you know?
No, I mean, my objective is quite the opposite of that.
Just
I
give him
want
a fuel allowance for travel.
And we have
Me.
the same option. We just chose to buy, for the county to buy us a vehicle. We're pretty tough on that. You need to understand that our trucks spend a lifetime on dirt roads. And they get about 50,000 miles a year on one is what we actually put on one. And you really need to replace it about every 2 years when it gets about 100,000 miles on, because the doors will start falling off of it, and the dash is falling out of it. Everything else is going wrong.
And my intent wasn't to decide what he is or put him in whatever, it's more of a general discussion of, I just feel like it shouldn't be a burden to him as an individual to go from one end of this county to the other. That's my point.
We should up to,
Well, you know what the
I
county
did,
is when you
and I put it
judge.
there as what the constable, at 7,200.
Okay. Nobody else will come by, I just think it's.
Well, thank you.
I also have a question about Veterans Affairs. Mine is about maintenance. I'm not selling car, by the way, but I just wondered, is there any way we can investigate different things? I know some people in this county that transport veterans to and from Galveston in their own personal vehicles. And, I understand our VO officer does some of that himself, but I just was going through here and I just made a note, and I don't know how strict these budget workshops are, we thought it would be a good discussion.
Well, I am in discussion with Jasper County. They don't have a veteran service officer. And basically what they do with their money, they give it to the VFWs, and they're supposed to handle it. So, you know, they're not sure how much veteran services they're getting. So, you know, I put forward, you know, we have a veteran service officer. When I did Jasper, you know, y'all contribute to it. And they were positive, but I just haven't, got back with them on, you know, they were supposed to talk to the VFW. So there's a possibility that we can have a Jasper Newton veteran service officer, you know, funded by both counties.
So they can give us a side, because I understand our VO officer, all the people from
Yes,
Jasper.
he did a lot of work for that, because they really don't have one.
I want to discuss this pay raise, because we started out at 21,745 within, 21,745, and then it's back down to 18,000.
Well, that's my fault. That was my fault. I thought that's what they, somebody tell me the reason for that, because for some reason this 3% raise, we're right now, 18,128, but I had it at 20 something. Somebody tell me the reason for that. That's where I'm confused. I mean, so I couldn't find the paperwork showing to be that way. So I changed it back to that 3%.
I'm just telling you, the guy does a lot for our county.
So that's up to the commissioner's court. If they want to
You'll
go
be
to that,
surprised.
because I could not find anything you all can take that.
Well, how much is that an hour? I mean, in 2023, it was 17,220, and I guess with the 3% raise, it's at 18.
Yes.
18, see, 29 hours a week, or six.
Yes.
So how much is it making an hour?
Hold on just a second.
just don't know if we've ever had a veteran off for this county that works.
Not,
No,
not
absolutely
since
not.
I've been around.
I'm just that guy, that's such a lot of ideas.
If you move them up to $15 an hour, that'd be 22,620.
What was the at, Ted, in that, yeah, what was
We
it?
was at 18,128.
No, the last,
21,745.36.
Where's that coming from?
that was in the first one, the first one. And then when I
Oh,
went
you're
to
talking about
the
okay. I'm looking at it here, I'm not seeing it.
So what did you say, line 22?
Put it at $15 an hour, that'd be 22,620.
So, is that something that the court wants to do? Or is something that that adjustment?
That's something that I don't. And I guess as we go through this, I have a question for the group. As we go through this, we get through, we make changes. These.
There, she was asking where the iPad is for the sound, whether it's over there somewhere.
So as we go through this and make changes, are you gonna come back and tell us, are you tracking this and saying, yeah, we got a good budget, that's a decent budget?
No.
Yeah.
So I'm good with $15 an hour. If everybody else is.
Right, yeah, he should be making more than that, I see.
Well, and like I said, if I can get, the money from Jasper County, you know, that would put him, pretty good, you know, he's part-time right now. So $15 an hour, I see no problem with that.
And I think it goes back to what I was talking about with the other vehicle. If this guy's making $12 an hour to do what you're saying he's doing, he's spending money in the vehicle.
May I have some? Okay. Something really similar to what you said came out of his mouth. I've seen him work so hard for multiple veterans. They come in my office and tell me how hard it was, all he's done for them.
Well, since he's been, veteran service officer, he's got his clients over $6 million in benefits that they weren't getting at all. So,
That's a big kind of residence. So,
well, some of them Jasper County,
but I mean, of that $6 million, a lot of it goes back in our economy, right?
Yes.
It benefits our taxpayers, so.
so our VA benefits, you know, the last count was 6.1 million in benefits that he's got the veterans.
I don't know how we do it, but I guess for me, like for Dan, I think $15 is at least what we should do.
So what's the total on that share? 22,620. 22,620.
Okay, if I put 2 pair of glasses on, you gonna put that on your nose again?
I'm gonna zoom in.
Put it down. So, I see one thing here, Judge. On the small equipment and furniture, I saw a discrepancy between the JP's offices. I don't know why. Do you know why? You got always had that?
It's basically what they were asking for in the sheet.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yes.
Perfect.
You know, some of them allocated money different ways, but that's the reason it's like.
Okay.
Now, I did put in for cell phone allowance for the JPs because they're on their phones all the time, back and forth with the jail. And they're using their own cell phones, so I do think that just these need a cell phone. And then one that I don't know if I put in there, but, county clerk, during election time, she's on the phone, out in the field, I think she needs a cell phone.
We need to make sure that they get, published one, that get published in the
I didn't get it.
take these cell phones, you have it published. Yeah,
I think I did.
make sure. So I don't have travel around, I don't have a, cell phone, but I don't know what you put in the paper. Just wanna make sure.
So, are you moving on, Judge?
Yes.
So, we talked, you and I talked last week, and we've all talked for some time about, a place in the old Champion area, like, I hope that we can do better than a trailer house. I think with the same money, we can build a metal building, a bathroom in it, with a voting place, that they'd be proud to go vote, and we, is there money in this budget for that?
There is not any, but, you know, we have,
I know you made some changes, I know there's not this one, but I didn't know about yours.
no, I just forgot about that. But, thank you, Lord. But as far as, we've got about 200 and, probably close to 40,000 now in the contingency fund. And we could take some money there and put it toward the polling place and get it.
I just, if we're gonna do that, I'd like to do it in this budget workshop, so everybody sees it, and it's, you know, I know you have some money, I see some money here on buildings, building maintenance, or what was that?
Building,
How much is that?
100,000.
One thing about that, we spent repairing all the air conditioners, you know, especially like the courthouse. We've got the old air conditioners upstairs, can't be removed due to the way they were placed. So repairing them is pretty expensive.
So that's
So,
all. Okay.
yeah, we've already spent over 100,000 on AC.
So how much is this building gonna cost in
Yeah, we got to do that.
So, I don't, we haven't, we talked about a lot of, you know, different options, but, I feel like we can build a building for $45,000, that's what I asked for, was $45,000.
So do you want to move 45,000 out of contingency over to your purchase of land and building? So you can purchase that building?
Well, the land's gonna be gone.
The land-
No, it's not, it just says slash building or land. So you can do, it's gonna be fund number 10525.
We can do that.
I guess I'm kind of like ticklish about this other stuff, I know we got fund numbers we gotta keep up with and different things, but it would make my heart happy if there was a line in this budget that said 45,000 community/voting center.
Create another fund.
Oh, she's good at that. Can we do that? Please?
Just put down your purchase for the building, and then I'll put slash for your budget.
Okay.
So, the line is dedicated for that.
And I guess just, this is, so these folks have to drive, I did it the other day, it's a little bit over 30 miles to vote. And, some of them just don't have means to drive 30 miles, they need a place to vote.
Some of them won't drive, they're not gonna vote if they have to drive.
And the community is, it needs a place for the community as well. It can use as a community center. They don't have necessarily quote unquote a church. It's a large community there. It's just kind of broken up. There's some churches across the road, different things, but this area needs something. This will be.
Churches in Jasper.
It's in Jasper County, Cherry Grove Church across the
So it
road.
wouldn't really be a good.
Well, we can't, that's what KK looked at last year, was
they grow every day.
So, there's 336 registered voters.
Yes,
So you gotta figure almost at least a couple of kids, you know, you go look at 500 grand. And we put more coverage in that community than we have in all of the other rest of the precincts.
right, but
Yes,
there were some that weren't registered.
Yeah.
As I talked, that they haven't registered to vote because they said, why? I'm not driving you to vote. I'm not driving that far. I don't matter. That was their word. I don't matter.
I guess when we start talking about raises or employee salaries, I'm gonna go ahead and put mine out there, because this is being recorded, I'm sure we shared, so in precinct 4, I took the employees, the journeyman, I took them from $17 and some change, $17.47 to $20 an hour, and the league out wants $20.50 an hour. I have no problems with that being shared throughout the world. I think that's not even enough, but that's what I can do. My assistant, had a slight increase to $16 an hour. So, just want to go ahead and get that.
And I did put in the budget a 3% raise for, everybody that's not road agents. You know, their raises, the commissioners, basically I told them, look, it's not my money to allocate, so, but as long as their raises equal to 3% or more, we were good. But our problem, one of the problems is keeping people, the city of Newton pays way more than what the county pays. So, we always lose a lot of good talent.
Could you speak up just a little bit, Judge?
I'm sorry, what I was saying is the city pays more than the county, so it's kind of hard to retain some, good people. So-
Yeah, on the south end of the county, the folks that live down there are 8 miles from a $12 billion expansion or a new plant. And they're paying those people, above $50 an hour. So, I mean, working for the county has benefits, longevity, and all those things. What we're paying is not anything absurd. I had a note here that the constables, and I forget after the 3 a.m. review, that the constables differ in pay. Is that what they asked for?
As far as in their budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, they allocate, some of their training and stuff a little different, but, bottom line, they're all the same. It's just.
Yeah, their salaries.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I didn't have those sheets that you had, so.
Their salary and their truck allowance, or fuel allowance.
My notes. I go back to what I said about Jody having a guy from South End County up here, or up here at South End County. It's got to do the same thing going to Toledo Bend. But also our JP, down on the South End County has jail duty. So in jail duty, how many trips is that a month for a JP?
Well, they have to say, average, I'd say 15.
15, and that's 15 a month, and that's 4 months out of the year. No, it's 3 months out of the year.
Now, that's just for jail duty. There are other things that make us have to travel. In West, we have to handle those or each other from time to time if somebody got pocket got came on and we also have cases that we can't hear, so someone else would have to come to our court here that case. So so that it's not just able to do it. They just have to try. And I point out, we don't get anything for that. That's on us. Everybody.
For me, you know, and I feel like I'm conservative when it comes to spending the taxpayers' money. I have been that way in business for other people's money, not necessarily mine. But it should not cost someone part of their salary to do a good job. That's the way I feel. Said it. I ain't saying ain't nobody just take it on work 60 to 70 hours a week. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, we have a truck, we get unlimited fuel, and I know we do things for people on top of that, but I just think that, no, it's not unlimited fuel. Well, I mean, you don't buy it at the top, but you get that. Well, around.
You know, this is something we'll have to look at next year, because, you know, we've already advertised their compensation in the newspaper, so,
Unless we do something for the courthouse, unless we work with the sheriff's department and get two huge trucks out here and send them to some detail shop, have them detailed and painted, and they're pulling trucks and whatever JP's on duty gets a truck that month to come back and forth. And we just need to be mindful of that.
yeah, as far as compensation, we can't do anything about it this year.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing in here that I see is, Sheriff, you got your admin assistant, a lot of people call him secretary, 45,000. Is that right? Can you kind of help us justify that before we vote on this budget?
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready. One of the things, the way that particular position was allocated is that the jail cabinet and that secretary, salaries was the same. That position came as a part of the jail as well. It supports the jail as well as me. So that's how that number is set. With the Senate bill that came out, that's had a lot of favor.
So part of the compensation is going to be covered by SB 22?
Oh, that's my question. Okay, so you're saying that SB 22 is secretary, so that person's also going to be slash jailer? They're
I
gonna
didn't
be-
say that. I didn't say that. I said that traditionally, the way it was set up, that jail captain and that particular position was same, similar.
Okay, right, but, all right, so with the SB 22, it won't cover the administration part unless they have the jail, their license with the jail commission. I know at one time, the secretary there had to be slash dispatch jail, so I didn't know if we still did that as well.
And that is not going to be a problem. We have to do that.
So, yeah, and in the SB 22, we covered that position if it was slash jail or a jail. It just will not cover the administration part of what I've read.
So your assistant, your secretary, I don't like the word secretary, but your assistant.
I don't use the word secretary.
in some places, but your assistant is not a jailer, and she's not going to be a jailer duties. He or she, whatever.
Well, it did depend.
depends on what, going forward next year, what the situation is, comes up with. The person that's in that position now was, Taylor, and, just actually was, see, I told you, came out of, the jail, that position. Any other questions?
Who's still carrying jobs?
Yeah.
Yes, it's just,
Fire version floods management for next year.
We're looking for a emergency management candidate. That's another, the city wants to pay part of the salary, so the county, city emergency manager. So, like I say, we're looking for a candidate.
We are.
Oh, we will be, not actively right now, we're funding one.
But this budget, it's in,
Yes.
I mean, you saying,
Yeah, it's budgeted, for next year. We don't have the money, this year as far as in the budget, but it is in the budget for next year. And the city is wanting to pay, how much is it shared on
so what Nathan told me, the city would be willing to pay 25% of the salary. So I just didn't budget it until I got final confirmation. That's what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
So it'd be, city / county emergency manager.
but they report to the county judge.
Yes.
Second question,
Okay.
solid waste. You wanna try to do something different, or we just gonna
Yes.
leave it the way it is?
As far as solid, once this budget's passed, we're gonna work on implementing the plan. I'd like to charge, I hate the word charging for solid waste, but, people want the open top dumpsters back. We're making a good run at it right now, but we did put some, open tops back during the burn ban. But, I'm thinking if we charge, county resident $25, and then out of county residents $300, and when they go to the dump, they have to have, and it's gonna be like a windshield sticker. That would stop, out of state. But hey, if they wanna, if somebody out of state wants to pay the $300, they can come to the dumps, but, it's still cheaper than, for an out of state or out of county than what their current garbage rates are. But that would help pay for the open top dumpsters that we have. So, right now it's $400 for an open top. That's what it costs. And that's not counting the fuel or the, driver. So it's $400 to dump an open top. So
That's what we're charging.
yeah, that's what we're charging we're not really breaking even, but it's close.
So if I may,
Yes.
this will be an annual fee,
Yes.
and solid waste, this fee would start in 2024,
Yes.
and solid waste as whole stays under your direction.
Yes.
Well, let's get back to what we're talking about here today, the budget workshop. So the numbers that we're talking about here has nothing to do with the tags.
No,
It only has to do.
but that's the plan I have going forward with the solid waste. I didn't even put any revenue in there for tags. I don't anticipate it to be a whole bunch for, 2024, but, we've got the transition to where, start out $25. It may, increase, over the years, but, we gotta start somewhere. It's gonna cost around $200,000 a year for solid waste.
May I speak?
Yes.
As I had offered last year, and I've offered it this year, my office is more than willing to collect that fee if they're,
that's, I was gonna talk to you about that, about.
We have the tracking, the auditing in place. It would be another line that I would add to the treasurer's check. And there would be a checks and balances, so to speak. If whatever kind of tickets, whatever kind of sticker, it could be. Everyone has to register their vehicles.
Yes.
If they're out of county, they can just be told from the county tax office. And
But the problem
we're,
we have now is.
we're here, I'm willing, my staff is willing, I've talked with them, and I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, half the residents have out-of-county addresses. You know, you've got some of the, you know, outside of work area, Jasper,
Right.
cities, you know, Jasper address.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, you got Lakewood, Kirbyville address, Call, you know, you got a lot of Kirbyville, all seven, that's Kirbyville address.
But it's just a couple of seconds, and we
Half
all
of
know,
them.
we have the technology, we know within 5 seconds whether they're in county or out of county.
Half of leave them with them.
Right, but we have the technology to know,
Yes.
you know, where they're in
And
or
that's why
out.
I'm saying it has to go through your office. You know, it's like Devil's Pike is doing,
Right.
and a lot of good deals on it.
Right,
And some of them are even Martinsville, so.
Yes,
We have to go through your office to find out reference.
well, I just want to go on record and let the court know that I am in my office. We are more than willing and more ready
Thank you for
to
that.
take on that task.
But, you know, that way, you know, we start putting the open tops, you know, it's not costing the county, just a whole bunch of money to keep solid waste.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna jump back quick, to on JB earlier.
Did that
When,
Did that answer your question, Dan?
Info.
Judge,
Hey, before we leave solid waste, if you don't mind, since we're on the, so, you know, you mentioned, Mr. Kelly mentioned, is it gonna stay in the direction of the judge? I just want everyone, just for understanding, the solid waste department has no equipment. The judge has no equipment. The commissioners are maintaining the waste sites. They're keeping them up, they're doing, I keep equipment out there that the solid waste department uses. Have no problem doing that. But when you look at this budget and you know, I just create that, the commissioners don't have anything to do with it. It's incumbent upon us, we have to keep those sites up. We have to keep, you gotta be able to drive in, we gotta put rock down, we gotta keep it spread, we gotta keep the bushes beat down. And we're doing that. So it's not something that the commissioners are not involved in. So every precinct's got their own waste out there. So
I got
anyway, I just, you know, we're part of that. It's not,
Well, we can't do it this year, but we gonna have to get us some way to maintain this whole thing approach.
Yes.
Got to have a roller and a tiller or a zipper or something. Won't happen this year.
okay, on the, proposed, salaries, they were proposed, so we can make any changes up until the adoption of the budget. So if you wanted to go back and add something for the JPs, you can at this point, like you're gonna have to go back and add cell phone for K-Dad. It just has to be, that's gonna be the adopted, but it says in the government code that we can make any changes up until the budget's adopted. So I just wanted to bring that up in case you guys want to go back and add
But
something
it
for the
wasn't
JPs.
posted in the paper.
But it was proposed in the paper, so we just have to do the adopted if we make changes.
Okay, Sherry,
Just let me know.
also too with the road and bridge general, money.
Yes.
Can we go ahead and make a budget for a roller or whatever the court seems to need to do that money to better prepare our roads that we got?
Okay, so you're talking about the rollover for the road and bridge general,
I do.
probably around $400,000. That's what, you want to make a budget to
I want to do, that's right. I want to, we need to purchase a roller. We have, the precincts, we have purchased a water.
there's a better way of doing this, I think, because we don't know what we want to do.
No, but I want her to budget. I want her
What's
to.
So we better have
The
to
way we
budget
can do
under
it-
the equipment.
The way we could do it is budget the whole 25%. If we wrote it up, say, budget 25% of non-used / allocated road and bridge general to each precinct to be used to purchase equipment and or for projects. And then if we all work together, if we found a roller for $250,000, and we said everybody puts in a quarter of that, the county has a roller. But right now, it's gonna be hard to budget what we need, because we don't know what it's gonna cost.
We can do that. You want to do 25% of the 400,000, or put it to 21, 22, 23, 24.
If that will allow us to meet in the court next year, or in December, whenever it comes to this.
Well, we have, I think we have, Philip,
On the zipper.
yeah.
Yeah, those are the 3%. Of course, you know, they was offering, you know, a while back, the demos, they've been about 60,000.
But we also, when we read Saul, also said that he's got a killer that's doing work. So we might.
Yeah, we can get by on the street. I think we can get by on the utilities, we definitely have that. And we want to put a road in.
Yeah, all of our asphalt roads, you can't fix them. One thing you can do is throw a shovel full of mix in it, make another one.
Well, they build up 3,100. You buy the money out of chip seal that road right now, it's good.
And so just what we're talking about here is our auditor found some money in the road bridge fund, road bridge general, that wasn't being used and or wasn't allocated.
Right.
And she
All
brought
budget
this to the
taxes,
court.
Yeah, there's been money there.
It's built up over time.
Yes.
So what we're saying is we got this money out there not being used. Commissioner White went out and did some work, not knowing about this money, on I need to fix these roads, how can we get a tiller and all. And we found, the auditor says you've got this money in road bridge general not being used. Here's an opportunity to use it, fix roads that you can't fix no other way. So it'd be great if you could do that.
25%. $100,000 in each one of your equipment, right?
Which one?
Illegal forms, you know. I'll show everybody the picture. Boy, okay. Yeah. Picture of roller, yeah, that's what we're talking about. What it amounts is, you know, we don't have the capacity, we don't have the equipment. You get a road full of holes, you can't grind it up and resurface it. We're just going backwards, trying to.
And just share a little bit more information with y'all out there. Our road material budget is $208,000, $209,000. Each one of us share about 150 miles of road. So if you'll divide that 150 miles of road by $200,000, that's all we have to spend, period. There's no more money to go get, there's no more money to go find. When you run out of budget, when you run out of money in October, you're out of money, period, until the following January. So that's where we are. We're not in the road building business, we're in the repair. Try to repair it, to keep it as best we can. So, that's a huge undertaking for a commissioner, that we have some people that are calling every day, why my road's not blacktop. And when you tell them that, they have no idea when you tell them that, they think, well, I'm not gonna tell you what to tell them. But anyway.
So where will this tiller and roller be? Where will its home be? At what end of the county? And how will you get it from one end to the other? Do you have the equipment to move it?
We will haul it.
Okay.
That's a really good question. I'm new to the court, so let me share my experiences working with these other three commissioners and the judge. So I had two maintainers, graders, when I come in office. Commissioner White's got a lot of miles of dirt road, and he was about to go spend $500,000 on a maintainer. I had two, I used one. We spent $31,000 to get that thing up to prime condition, and Commissioner White now has it. Commissioner Benson, down there on the other end, he had a tractor with a boom mower on it, that he wasn't gonna pay to get the motor fixed because he said it wasn't a good investment. He bought him a new one, he was buying a new one. He called me and said, Commissioner Powell, can you use that boom mower in that tractor? That's literally probably about $50,000 worth of parts, probably more than that. He's given the 3-cent full. Commissioner Fondy, I broke a boom mower right off the bat. My boom mower's a bad. Right off the bat, he had one up there, he said, come get it. I got it. The other day, I needed a bulldozer. We're gonna get that bulldozer. We have worked really well together, and all of us feel very comfortable that when we buy a piece of equipment together, we don't care where it stays. Right now, I guess since I've been in office probably 3 months, I've kept the debris truck down in precinct 4. We just move it around where it needs to go if there's something delayed. And it won't be a problem when it stays.
Congratulations, Lord, I'm glad to hear that. Y'all are working so good. That is good.
Pleasant experience thus far.
So what you hear on the street is not true. So if you hear them talking about that this court is not united, and that you're hearing all these stories and allegations and everything, I can sit here in front of you today and tell you that it's not true. And let's just explain it. By detail, from day one when he arrived here. Not just last week.
I didn't include it all. Commissioner Benson down there has hauled, I don't know how many loads of material from Jasper to precinct 4 because he has 20-ton trucks. I have 12-ton trucks. So he gets 2 for 1. So I buy the fuel. He provides the driver and the truck. And it saves the county a tremendous amount of money. And then when they come to get the asphalt at the stage in Highway 1287, my front end loader, I said, my precinct 4's front end loaders down there, they use it at will. They don't have to carry one down there. So there's just, I can go on and on. It's every day we do something to work with. That's good stuff. And the judge just got us a voting plate from precinct 4, so he's kind of high on the list right now too.
Hey, I got no clue.
You don't have any equipment. No, you don't have any equipment. You don't have any equipment, but we take care of your solid waste sites, but it's already in our precincts.
That's right. Does anybody have any other questions on it?
Praise the
When you guys are done, anyway.
I'm not sure if it's done. Which one?
Well, I was just, Sherry, so if we have anything that needs to change between, it has to be done by tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Meeting tomorrow.
And we can change it before we vote, though, right?
Yes, you can change it
Okay.
up
We
until you
change it,
vote.
Right.
Okay. That was the question.
And once it's adopted, the only way you can change it is with the budget amendment.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Sorry?
Just push it back.
Let me ask you, Judge, this is your CFO of the county. Is there anyone that's an elected official that did not get what they asked for?
Me? I want 304,000.
Commissioners don't count.
Sure.
I just have one question. The purchase vehicle line, that we got that deal the other day,
Yes, sir.
and the next, the one for next year. Since we got that bill Friday, then we don't have the money we thought we had, so we're gonna have to go and look at that number again.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're gonna have to add, you have the money this year to pay $50,000. Next year, we're gonna have to have $50,000 to pay on the next two, and the 12,000 times two for the payments. So we got,
We're good.
we're good, we're good, because the judge
That's
called
it.
me. Yes.
You know it?
So,
You were taking back with me. So, Mr. Kelly, you want to?
This court going to stipulate that the $300,000 grant in SB 22 funds for the Sheriff's Department do stop, the county is not obligated to continue funding salaries at their proposed 24 increase rate. That is that the state of Texas is increasing the salaries, not the county. Thus, the state of Texas will be reducing salaries if SB 22 is not funded in the future. The same exact question goes with the district attorney's office for $175,000 grant for the third attorney. The position created and funded by the state of Texas, and should state funding end, that said position would be eliminated.
Let me address that. You know, first of all, I don't really understand how we can turn our faces or not embrace something that the state seen a need several years ago. This bill almost passed the last session before this. If the state can see the need for rural areas like this, for help and assistance, to be able to competitively compete for officers, jailers, district attorneys, to give them the assistance where we can be on a level playing field, to give personnel to stay here, to give them a livable wage to live in these areas. And you're looking, and I appreciate your concerns, but you're addressing something that just is not a part of what we're at right now.
It can.
Yeah, it can rain tomorrow too, or not. But what I'm saying, if you're a positive thinker, if you see what the state has done, and they tried to do this several years ago, we're on the road. It could increase. What if it increases more? It could. That's a possibility. It could even be enhanced. God knows we need the help. We in law enforcement and district attorney's office and courts. I applaud the state for doing it. I really do. We all should. Because it's going to give us a more quality of life here in these rural areas. Aren't you tired of having people look down, well, that's East Texas, that's the country? My God, it's time to move forward. It's time to be positive. It's time to be strong and embrace these changes. Hey, any questions?
Yes. We were all positive when the grant money came through before from the state.
Well, let me answer your question.
Hold on.
You asked the
Do I get
question.
to make a statement or not back to what
You asked the question before, let me answer.
I'll
your
say about
question.
that.
There's no sense in you guys arguing. So your
I'm
question,
sorry.
your question to the court was, and I'm a court member, so I'm gonna answer it, and the other court members can answer it as well. Your question is, are we gonna be funded? I hope not. So this money was put in at the base level. We heard this all in Galveston.
the base budget.
It's put in the base budget, just exactly how they fund the DPS, the game wardens, all these, it's put in at that base level, meaning, in their opinions, as experts, it'll never go away. It is a base funded state mandate. Well, let's say it does, because that's your question, right? Personally, me, I think those deputies that risk their lives deserve what he's going to pay them. So I hope that if it does ever go away, which I hope it doesn't, but if it does, I'm gonna be the one saying, well, we need to try to figure out how to pay those guys what we've been paying. So that's where I stand on it. I wish the other commissioners would weigh in as well. I'm with you.
Well, I'd like to say that those guys are underpaid for the things that dealing with the society that we deal with today. I mean, you go to the service station, you don't know if it's gonna go home safely or not. And you know, I hate to say it, but it's just like raising kids. The society, respect, you know, little kids walking around here, they have no respect for you anymore. I mean, it's just society, the way society's going. You turn the television on any day of the week, and right here in Jasper, even for us, closest Jasper, you got teenagers shooting up folks and stuff. And you know, it's not, it's you know, it used to be, it's like, man, well, they got a nut in every 2 million people, you know, so Houston got 30 million or whatever, so you got a bunch of nuts down there. It's not that way anymore. It's a nut everywhere. And I would hate to think that I had to go and be a policeman. I mean, I'm just saying, when you look at the responsibility and putting your life on the line, and the dangers that come with the job, I really, and really, that has nothing to do with the decision that the state has made. The state has made a decision, just like they whenever they change our guidelines of how we manage our court and all the things that we do in the state. Well, when they make that decision to change it, it's for a reason. And normally it's for a good reason.
If you don't mind, can I add something just real quick, sorry. The problem with it is that it's the misconception that it's actually a grant, and it's not a grant. They shouldn't have titled it or put out any kind of press that it was a grant, because it's not a grant. They should have called it an apportionment or something like that, where if you're within this population range, you're gonna get this share. And you will always get this share. And so the problem is that they called it a grant and it's not a grant. So, you know, there's gonna be a reporting to the state on how we're spending it, but it's still not actually a grant. And so people call it a grant, it's not a grant, it's an apportionment that we're.
It is an actual apportionment.
Yes, that's my understanding, based on the population size.
Well, you know, even if it, you know, does go away, you know, we're still looking, you know, 8 to 10, maybe more years. You know, hopefully Newton County would be in good enough financial shape to continue to fund it as it is or better. You know,
Appropriations is totally different than a grant. We've been told it's a grant.
and that's the way they label. That's the way they label
And
it.
again, because that goes up all that. And as far as the message about everybody getting underpaid, the people agree. The problem is the hard numbers and the problems that the counties had to endure. If this was a grant, that could be a future problem we may have to endure. Since the appropriation, it's not going to be, that's a new point. So, thank you for that.
When you
Thank
deal
you
with
for
FEMA and
turning.
grant, it's scary. You know, because they have forever to come back, you know, just like a lot of the money we're paying back now, Hurricane Ike. That was 2007, 2008. You know, it's 13, 14 years. We're going back. So, and we're not the only county that are doing that. One county, they were $8 million. City of Houston was millions of dollars they're asking for back. You know, so we're not the only county that they're hitting. So, but it's just, it's very hard to come up with money that's already.
Still stand by it because the way Mark still gonna say that we got a way to pay these people what's the sheriff and has budgeted. In regard to the DA's office, there's been some discussion around, we don't need another DA or we don't need another attorney in the DA's office. And before this SB 22 money ever come up, I questioned our county attorney / district attorney about that. I said, it appears to me you need some help. Because every time I call, you and John are in court. And that was the case for that particular week. I called like 3 times. They were in court. They weren't at a restaurant. They were in court. I'm the commissioner. I need help. back to when my dad was a commissioner, he didn't have an assistant. And then he paid someone out of his pocket to help him with it. They got assistants because their job grew. Well, then the JPs didn't have assistants. They got assistants because their job grew. The demands grew. People like you started asking questions that hadn't before. That puts another workload on elected officials, which is fine. But we have to answer those questions. When public information requests come in, we have to sit down and form all these answers. So the job's grown. Every department head has grown in the county, except the judge's office, in regards to having legal counsel. Because the same two people have been there. I need help getting legal counsel. Ms. Pontgate, I call her several times a week during business hours and after. What about this? I sent an email today, I got a lesson on it. We need that assistance that she's hiring. We need that. I'm asking for that. So I just want everyone to know that I support that.
We do our part to make sure and at least do the minimum of keeping up with our caseload and, helping out and supporting the court, other elected officials. So we do our part, but there's always more. And so, like you're saying, you want the judge to come to meetings. I'd like to come to more meetings that you have down there, but I can't do that and keep up with my caseload the way that I do.
Now, you can't do that, keep caseload at 260, can you?
So for me to keep, at the speed that what I'm doing is one thing, but I want to be able to do more. And so having more help will help with that. And I hope that somebody can go to those same meetings. We don't have a travel bar, I'm not asking anymore. But it's also $100 for me to go to a meeting down there. But anyway, yeah, we just want to be able to do more, offer more to everybody. So
You mentioned that, we're gonna have this meeting, and quite honestly, we don't have an attorney present, so everything we talk about, we're gonna have to come back and tell you what we talked about.
like
So
we usually do.
Yeah, so you should have someone out there,
May I speak? I know everybody's tired of my voice. Okay. I am very concerned about the tax office, the security. We have security in the main area. My office is open. Everybody comes in my offices. They're mad, and we're dealing in a different world. Like the sheriff said earlier, the people, when they have delinquent taxes and they think they're going to lose their land, their home, my motto is helping people help themselves. I do everything I possibly can. But when they get to that point, not all of them are rational. Something has to be done. The security in my office at the front of that building, I know that we thought it was an easy fix, and I'm forever grateful to Commissioner Benson for building that back office. That is a deposit office. I do need a steel door back there. We have a wooden door. That's an easy fix. I don't know what the answer is. I know a couple of y'all have weighed in on it. I don't know what the cost is, but I know what the cost is if someone, my life has been threatened before. I will never forget Wayne Powell jerking a man out of his house back in the day because he threatened my life. We're dealing in a different world. They're not just talking now.
Absolutely.
They're packing. How many people are sitting in prison or in jail? And when they cooled off, they can't believe they did what they did. They never meant to do it. And I'm not standing here trying to be a drama queen, but we do collect a lot of money. And we do have people that deal in cash. Yeah. I'm just saying, the longer I sit here, I could not let this meeting in without addressing the board about a a major concern.
How much money would it take, I'm just brainstorming, how much money would it take
Thank you.
to run that, you know, where the glass is, to run it all the way to the end and take her office in to where, I mean, you still want to be visible to the public, right? You still want
Absolutely, absolutely.
What would it take to do that? Y'all have any idea? I mean, y'all, I'm assuming y'all be able to sit there now at some point.
What would you do with
We're at 40,000, Melissa, for that glass work in there?
No, it was, well, I know that I had to pay, what, $16,000
Yeah, right.
So I think our total was 40.
Yeah.
40,000, yeah. But I just, you,
We'll fix it.
y'all
We'll
do
fix it.
understand where I'm coming from.
We'll fix it.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Sheriff, you got something to say?
Sir, this is one of the things that I always can always get the calls. You know, I can see your office from my window.
Oh,
But-
yes, sir, and we have called. We have called.
And with that security system, that proposal I bought to you guys, it includes the panic button and surveillance over there.
But by the time I push the panic button, I can be dead before they get there. Now, Greg,
Well, I think if, we're going to have a workshop, why don't we budget some money to fix this, and then when Sherry goes back and does all the things we talked about today, she comes back in here tomorrow, she may say, you still got a good budget here, to spend this much, and then maybe we think about it tonight, we say, well, that's the last thing we need to cut, maybe we need to cut something else. I agree, I have been there and heard those concerns, and I do agree, you know, someone losing their property is a serious thing, you know, and they're going there.
Well, that's the way it's fixing to get a security guard, independent security guard.
That's what I'm saying, you know, it's a fiscal year laid out, we have to do something with her. And her not to go that wall. I mean, she got the wall, she got the wall.
But then you look and drop it off all the way, around across the wall. The clerk's
So do we want to give Sherry some numbers to punch in and out, or? I mean, if she put it in there, she puts in 199, we'll come back and go, we're good. We got it, but we spend it or spend all of this on it, and come back and go back, we just have to go, figure out how to cut it. We're good. I mean,
Where are you gonna take it?
security system. You don't have enough money in your budget to get that done this year? I'm just asking.
And, I would have to take a look at that.
How much is it, the security system?
$90,000.
Oh, you got it, sure. I think you do. Last time I looked, you had $500,000. But you're cool.